Senator John McCain's ashamed of you, and so is my friend Katie.
That is just a tiny little taste of the humiliation that Republican lawmakers have been experiencing when they finally stand face to face with their constituents, because as you saw, they are fucking pissed off. And I can assure you there is no shortage of reasons why they're so mad, but one common theme that we're seeing across all of these town halls and public confrontations is that they're angry that one unelected billionaire is unilaterally making cuts to government agencies because it is now directly affecting these people. Now, in the video where people were chanting, hey, hey, ho, ho, Elon Musk has got to go, they were especially pissed off because some of Elon Musk's firings affected people in Missouri where that protest took place. Now, their representative at that town hall, Mark Alford, defended them losing their jobs, saying that government jobs aren't lifetime appointments like Supreme Court justices, which is infuriating. But to make matters worse, he actually had the audacity to tell his angry constituents that they shouldn't worry because God has a plan for them, as the Kansas City Star reports. Well, how encouraging. I just don't understand why anybody would be mad after that politician told them that God has a plan for them. Sounds great. Yeah, but on a serious note, people are pissed, and those people that you just saw are not the only ones who are pissed off. But what you're going to see now is Republicans try to use the same tired-ass talking points that they always use, specifically to defend Elon Musk this time. But as you're going to see, their constituents are going to vocally shut that shit down aggressively so.
If Elon Musk is there, he will be able to raise questions, and because of his fame and financial success, I think all of a sudden he is going to be able to force Congress to look at things like aircraft carriers, which wouldn't happen otherwise, okay?
The end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
Things are happening at warp speed, illegal things that are having consequences right now. And we need you. Yeah.
Elon Musk is ignoring a bunch of financial stuff. He is in the Treasury. He is trying to get access to our tax returns. Are you going to subpoena him at some point? After you're done with the budget or whatever, are you willing to use your subpoena power to say, Musk, come in here, stand in front of Congress and answer some hard questions? That is how you can hold them to account.
How can you tell me that DOGE, with some college whiz kids from a computer terminal in Washington, D.C., without even getting out into the field, after about a week or maybe two, has determined that it's okay to cut veterans' benefits?
I think a couple things. Let me give you an example. Did you know that the VA was in charge of payments for illegals for housing?
No, I'm not aware of that. And I would tell you that that's a red herring, a false flag. If you're throwing that kind of political stuff up, trying to cut veterans' benefits, that's very alarming to me.
What purpose do you serve if you can't set the budget if it's overruled by a factor opinion? Yeah, that'd take a long time.
Oh my God. How embarrassing.
The question was, would I be supporting President Trump's efforts to reduce spending? Is that what we're There's I think, efforts by the president to reduce spending inside agencies. He's doing it a number of different ways. The first thing, everybody, if you want me to answer the question, you'll have to stay quiet so people can hear my answer.
Don't gaslight!
That was so incredibly satisfying to watch because, as you saw, their constituents were not letting them play dumb or deflect or obfuscate or use any of the tactics that they usually use to get out of answering questions. And with that last clip there regarding Cliff Bentz, I think he is the quintessential example of a politician that doesn't want to answer a fucking question. You know, they'll try to do things like rephrase the question by saying, oh, well, it seems like if I'm understanding your question correctly, you're asking me X when people are asking Y. But they're just just trying to reframe the question so they can give a bullshit answer. But as you saw, they weren't letting him get away with it. And my favorite part from that entire compilation was when he tried to take a slow sip of water and they started to heckle him for it because it was obvious he wasn't comfortable answering the question and was trying to give himself time to think about how he was going to get out of it. So he tried to get around it like a little weasel. Now, when it came to Stephanie Bice and her teletown hall, that constituent who was talking to her, who didn't buy her distraction tactic, that's a Republican, by the way. But he wouldn't let her change the subject when he asked that question because it was obvious that she had no good answer as to why she's letting her own constituent get fucked over by an unelected billionaire, and he was pissed off, as he should be. Now, we're going to get back to town halls in a moment, but first, I just want to show you how Trump himself is reacting to all of this because people have been making so much noise that the press asked him a question about these town halls and all the frustration with DOGE, and here's his bullshit response.
Some members of Congress in red districts are facing pushback from voters in town halls. We know that Americans voted for you on immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to that?
Let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. I have today the highest poll numbers of any Republican president ever. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do. So it's actually just the opposite. We've polled it, and people are thrilled. They can't even believe it's happening. And it won't affect many people. It'll only affect the people that get caught stealing.
Now, he's obviously lying, and unlike the constituents at these town halls, the reporters chose to let him get away with those lies when they should have just cut him off or shut him down, shout at him, say, "You're not answering the question, sir." Interrupt him. Don't let him spew his bullshit uninterrupted. Actually try to get him to be honest or at least give a straight answer. But I mean, sooner or later, Trump is going to have to face the fact that his approval rating is starting to tank in part because of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is bringing it down, and Harry Enten explains how bad it really is.
The people are mad. They are angry. They are rising up. Take a look here. Top worst things that Trump has done. This is among the folks who oppose Trump actions in office so far. You might have thought going into the election or afterwards it'd be immigration policy, but that comes in at just 10%. Check out on this side of the screen, though. I'm coming over to Mr. Berman's side. Musk, DOGE, or the funding freezes, right? These funding cuts. Look at that. That takes the cake. 24%. That is the top answer amongst those who oppose Donald Trump's actions in office, saying it is the worst thing that he has done so far. It's Musk, it's DOGE, it's those funding cuts. The people are mad, and if last night is an example, that town hall, they ain't going to take it anymore.
What has this done for Elon Musk?
Yeah, what has this done for Elon Musk? Is Elon Musk bringing his numbers up, or are they falling down? Take a look here. This gives you an idea of how angry the folks are at Elon Musk. Look at this. Elon Musk's net favorable rating. We've been tracking this. This is Quinnipiac University. Back in December of 2024, he was underwater, but just underwater by 5 points. Look at where he is now in February 2025. The American people are turning against Elon Musk. His net favorable rating way down there, past now minus 10 points, minus 12 points.
Shocking, right? It's almost like nobody wants an unelected South African Nazi to be in charge of our entire government, making these decisions. So, it's to the point where even Republicans are not happy about what's happening. But again, this is one of many reasons why anger is growing across the country. There's also Trump's authoritarian tendencies and him declaring himself a king that has also pissed off a lot of voters across the country. And Georgia Republican Rich McCormick got an earful at a town hall over the weekend about this.
It's clear from all the writings of our founding fathers that our great republic was never meant to be ruled by a dictator nor a king. Tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, Congressman, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected. The funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would probably say those January 6s who are yelling just as loud as you.
Look at the way he tries to weasel out of answering that question, as if January 6th, an actual insurrection, is comparable to angry constituents at town halls trying to get their representative to answer one fucking question. Amazing. Good job, sir. Real truthful there. But I mean, these scumbags are incapable of telling the truth because the truth is actually a lot uglier than the patronizing lies that they typically tell their constituents. The truth, like other Republicans here that we've seen, is that Rich McCormick isn't going to do jack fucking shit to hold Trump accountable because he's scared of Donald Trump. As Vanity Fair reports, Republicans are scared shitless of violent retaliation from Trump supporters if they choose to disobey him publicly. So this is why they create false equivalences or try to reframe the question or take long pauses to drink water so they can come up with some better excuse. But in actuality, the truth is that they're cowards who aren't going to do shit to hold Trump accountable. They're going to let him run roughshod over our government, let Elon Musk pillage the government, loot the treasury, and they're not going to do anything because they're cowards. But these Republicans aren't just cowards because they won't stand up to Musk or Donald Trump. They also are cowards because they won't even look their constituents in the eye and tell them why they're supporting legislation that would directly fuck them over. For example, one woman asked Rich McCormick why he co-sponsored the SAVE Act, which is legislation that could disenfranchise 69 million married women who took on the last names of their husbands. And as you're going to see, he chose to just play dumb, but thankfully, none of them were having it.
I want you to look me in the eye and tell me why you are trying to take away my right to vote.
Take away 69 million people's right to vote. I disagree.
Every single news outlet, Fox, CNN, every news outlet that is reporting on this are saying that it is going to make it incredibly difficult for any woman who has a married last name to vote. It is a voter suppression law that you signed on as a sponsor of, and I want to know why you're scared for me to vote.
If you'll let me talk, I think you'll see that we were just down at an IT conference and a bipartisan approach to voter ID.
Please answer.
So, I'm happy to review what it says, but if I disagree with you, I don't think it says that.
Are you?
I don't think it disenfranchises 69 million people. You can yell all you want, or we can have a discussion, and you can come in and we can actually go over the law. Look, guys, here's the deal. I came here to have a discussion.
Talking at us.
I think a lot of you didn't come here in good faith to have a discussion. You came here to yell.
Look at how indignant he's getting. It's unbelievable. Accusing his own constituents of acting in bad faith because they refused to gobble up the bullshit that he was spewing. The audacity of this motherfucker. I mean, this is why people hate politicians, because they don't just not care about their constituents. That would be bad in and of itself, but because they actually have contempt for their constituents, as evidenced by his demeanor there. They think that their constituents are stupid enough to believe whatever bullshit they spew. That might work in mainstream media when you're talking to a robot or a talking head or a pundit, but when you face real people in the real world, you'll see that they grow impatient very quickly if you don't give them a direct fucking answer. But again, it goes back to these tactics that we see again and again from politicians. You know, if they're too afraid to answer the question, they'll play dumb, or they're going to deflect or obfuscate. And I've got another example of this from Oklahoma, where constituents asked Republican Kevin Hern the most straightforward question ever. But of course, as you're going to see, he couldn't give a predetermined answer in his NPC dialogue tree because it didn't exist. So he basically glitched out in response to the questions.
Personally, do you support Ukraine or Russia?
Well, here's... No, it's not easy, ma'am. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Is Zelensky a dictator, yes or no?
That part I have a problem with that statement, yes.
Okay, did Ukraine start the war?
Well,
it's simple.
Do you support
Did Ukraine start the war, yes or no? Did Ukraine start the war? Yes
Let
or no?
him answer. Let him answer, ma'am.
Well, ma'am, I will. Just hang on a second.
That is so embarrassing. You cannot hate these people enough. But as infuriating as it is to see them refuse to answer simple fucking questions, I've got to say the bar is so low that I almost have to give people like Kevin Hern their credit, because he at least let his constituents berate him. I mean, it's not going to lead to anything. He's not going to answer their questions, but just standing there and taking it is at least commendable alone. And I say that because other Republicans from his state actually resorted to violence against their own constituents during a town hall that was hosted by the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee, where one woman, like other constituents that we saw, was heckling state lawmakers because they were supporting a measure to kill the Medicaid expansion that's part of the ACA. And this is something that would literally kill people. So I feel like that's a reason to be angry. I think she was within her right to yell at them for this. And when she did that, when she challenged them at a town hall, multiple men tried to physically remove her from the event because she chose to speak up. And as you watch this, pay close attention in the background to the speaker who's antagonizing everybody who's triggered over Doge.
You're not helping. You're not helping. You are not helping.
Excuse me, Sheriff Norris. This gentleman is assaulting me. This man is assaulting me. This man is assaulting me. Is this your deputy? Is this your deputy? No.
No. Is he your deputy?
Is he a deputy? No. He's our deputy. Who the fuck?
Hey.
You're hurting her.
We know the government has been mismanaging.
You are not deputy. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Show your badge.
Who are you?
Who the fuck are you? Yeah, that's what they say to rapists. You refuse to identify yourself. Where is your
Who
badge?
are you? Do you have a badge?
They're pulling my hair. Where is your badge?
Where's your badge?
So the sheriff just stood by while individuals who presumably were not his deputies chose to physically remove this woman. Why? Because she was yelling at them, I guess. I mean, listen, if they actually vote to kill the Medicaid expansion, that would literally kill people in their state. So they were lucky that that's all she was doing, because their victims would have been within their right to storm the stage and boot them out of the event, because what they're doing is killing people. But I mean, this is their mentality. They want to be able to fuck you over, and they expect you to take it lying down. But as you can see, people are more pissed off than ever, and they're not just taking it anymore. And that anger is going to keep growing because they're not just depriving us of essential things that we need to survive, like healthcare, but we can't even have the most basic things that make life easier that all other developed countries have, things like high-speed rail. Now, a Republican from California got a very rude awakening when he showed up to an event with a reality TV show star that turned into our transportation secretary for some reason, Sean Duffy, because they were not happy when he decided to shit on high-speed rail. And as you're going to see, he was shocked by that.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Kylie. I represent California's 3rd District. California's high-speed rail disaster is the worst public infrastructure failure in U.S. history.
If you want to go protest somewhere, if you want to shout at someone, go to the governor's mansion. Go talk to Democrats in the legislature who have brought us this crappy project, right? So we've seen over the course of the last month what DOGE has exposed with regard to fraud, waste, and abuse. And we're done with it. And you know what? You're going to have people who love fraud, who love waste, who love trains to nowhere. But all of us up here, we do not love fraud, waste, and abuse.
Absolutely not.
Now, what I find hilarious about this is that Sean Duffy actually claims with a straight face that he supports high-speed rail. It's just that the Democrats are the reason why it hasn't happened yet, so you should blame them instead of the Republicans. Yeah, if only you were in a position as transportation secretary to do something to make high-speed rail more of a reality. I mean, you were on MTV's Road Rules, so if anybody should care about transportation, it's you, right? But I guess not. I guess that it's the Democrats' fault that the transportation secretary can't get the ball rolling on high-speed rail. But I mean, you're kind of starting to see a theme emerge here across these town halls. We can't have high-speed rail, can't have healthcare. You know, moving on beyond just town halls, can't have student debt forgiveness, can't have abortion rights. They used to give us crumbs just to keep us satisfied, but we can't even have crumbs anymore. Nothing to satiate ourselves. People are waking up to the fact that these politicians actually expect them to just accept that they're going to suffer as much as possible until they die, and they're going to shut the fuck up and take it. That's basically what the message is that they're sending to us, and people see that and they're pissed off, and they should be. But I mean, even though Republicans are facing most of the heat at these town halls, I've got to tell you, Democrats are feeling it too. And I say this because town halls that I've attended personally in Oregon have not gone well for Democrats. Ron Wyden, for example, came to a couple of town halls in Oregon near Portland, and he was asked multiple times at the one that I attended why Democrats aren't doing more to stop Donald Trump. In fact, what are they doing? One person asked, why you're not doing what John Lewis would have done. Do some good trouble, maybe get yourself arrested. Prove to us that you're willing to put your own ass on the line to meet the moment. But Ron Wyden did not have a good answer, and I wish that I recorded it, but I didn't because I saw cameras there and I assumed that they were recording it and I could just get the footage online. Turns out, no, that was not the case. So I'll learn next time to record these if I want to see him answer a question and I want to share that with people. But on the note of Democrats getting into good trouble, one constituent to Representative Paul Tonko, who did a town hall in New York, was basically asked the same question that my senator was asked: why not get into good trouble? And this constituent who asked the question even raised the stakes. Let's watch.
If you ask us to show up, Congressman Tonko, we will show up. In D.C. But it cannot be. We have to take the gloves off. We can't live for protocol. They're not playing by the rules. We have to take it to them. When I saw you at those places, and I saw you next to Maxine Waters, again, I was so proud that my representative was on the front line, right there. But I thought about Jimmy Carter, and I thought about John Lewis. And I know what John Lewis would have done. He would have gotten arrested that day. Make them outlaw you. We will stand behind you. We will be there with you. I will get arrested with you. I will do it.
Now, I don't know what the response was because that wasn't shared, but I mean, that's the kind of urgency that people expect in this moment from Democrats. And that's what we're seeing at these town halls. Regular procedural politics just aren't going to suffice at a time when fascists have taken over the country. Democrats have to fight, and they also have to represent an alternative vision. And on that note, the president of the UAW, Shawn Fain, made a comment about Democrats that got thunderous applause, and I want to show that to you because I hope that as many Democrats as possible see this so they take the hint.
In this party, they can't decide who the fuck they want to represent.
And to be clear, that sentiment isn't just being expressed by diehard progressives, but even loyal Democratic Party liberals are saying the same exact thing right now. This anger is bubbling up within the Democratic Party by their constituents because they just don't feel like they're doing enough to fight, because they're not. Leadership in particular just isn't up to the task to take on Donald Trump. And outside of one event of a book tour for Hakeem Jeffries specifically, he was met with liberal protesters who were trying to communicate to him that now is not the time to promote your fucking book. Now is the time to fight Donald Trump. So why aren't you doing that? Now, when I talk about Democrats, I don't want to draw false equivalence between them and Republicans because there truly is no comparison. But the point is that no politician is going to be able to just get by doing the bare minimum these days because things are so bad. The times where we let politicians gaslight us are over. So these politicians are going to be miserable for the next couple of years if they expect the shit show to continue while doing nothing to stop it. But guess what? It doesn't have to be this way. In fact, Bernie Sanders demonstrated what happens when you actually represent people. And I'm going to leave you with a response that he got from a crowd of thousands of people in a red district in Omaha, Nebraska. This was so full that there were hundreds of people outside that couldn't get in because it was at max capacity. But just watch what happens if you're a politician that actually cares about the people and fights for the people.
Not happy.